Hi, my name is Eric Anderton, and I'm very excited today to share with you the 5 essential elements and 1 secret of a $1 million sales presentation. I have over 20 years experience selling products and services to a variety of companies from small mom and pops all the way to billion-dollar corporations. During that time, I have sold millions of dollars of products and services, most of them intangible, and I have made millions of dollars in my sales career. What I'm going to share with you today are absolutely essential elements to an effective $1 million sales presentation, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. By the way, at the end, I'm going to share a secret. This secret can transform your business and your sales presentations. And so stick around for the end of the video. If you're tempted to fast forward to the end of the video right now, don't do it because you're going to miss out on a lot of great content. But at the end, there's a secret and you're going to really like it. Okay? So let's dive right in. Now, the 5 elements of a $1 million sales presentation. Number 1, you've got to control the opening. And by the way, I have a PowerPoint right here on my laptop, so I'm going to be looking down just so that I can see my notes. You've got to control the opening. Number 2, you've got to establish credibility. Number 3, probe for pain. Number 4, provide the solution. And number 5, control the close. So you're in control from the very beginning to the very end of the sales presentation. And this is absolutely essential because what you're doing in effect when you're making a $1 million sales presentation is you are inviting the prospect to play your sales game, so to speak. You have the ball, you make the rules. If the prospect wants to follow you through the process, they're welcome to do so. If they want to exit at any point in the process, they're welcome to do so. But if they're going to play the game with you, they have to play according to your rules. And that's why each one of these elements is very, very essential. Now, another important point to remember is that as you go into a sales presentation and throughout a sales process, when people are evaluating whether or not to do business with you, they're asking 5 questions. And your sales presentation and your entire sales process should be answering these 5 questions. They are, number 1, do I like or trust this salesperson? People purchase from folks that they know, trust, and like. Number 2, can the company help me? Do I believe that the company that this person represents can help me with what I have to offer? Number 3, can the product that they have to offer or the service they have to offer help me? I may like the company, I may like the salesperson, but if the product or service is not a fit, then I'm not going to move forward. Number 4, is the price right for the value that I get? That balance between price and value is very, very important in a sales process. The value that you have to offer must be very heavy, and the price in comparison must be light enough for the prospect to move forward with what you have to offer. A $1 million sales presentation does a lot of hard work in creating and communicating the value of what you have to offer. And then the final question is this the right time for me to make the purchase? A $1 million sales presentation addresses all 5 of those questions, and a $1 million sales process does the same thing. Okay, so let's dive into the 5 essential elements of that $1 million sales presentation. The first one is control the opening. Now, to control the opening, you have to be able to control yourself and understand where you are in your sales process. I find this to be very important. Do you understand what the purpose of the presentation is that you're about to make? If you have no purpose, if you're just there giving information, then you're not a salesperson. You're just an information giver. Okay, they can go on the internet and get information. As a salesperson, you're there to take them through a process. So you have to understand what the point of the presentation is. In other words, the decision that you want them to make at the end. Always remember, and we're going to talk more about this, that the decision that you want a prospect to make at the end of any presentation is yes, I'll move forward with you, or no, I will not. You're okay getting no's because you're a professional. You're a $1 million salesperson and you understand that no's are a part of the sales life. And you're not afraid of no's because your funnel is full of prospects who want to do business with you, right? So you'll always want to bring them to a particular point and you want to control the opening with that in mind. Let me give you some more details on that. Outline the meeting for the prospect right from the start. Let them know exactly where you're going. Let them know that you're in control, that you're in the driver's seat, that you've got the map and you're going places and you're taking them along for the ride. So let them know how long the meeting's going to take, what you're going to be discussing in that meeting. It's particularly important for them to know how long the meeting will take because their time is extremely valuable. If you're selling to executives or owners or presidents of companies, let them know how long it will take because you want to communicate that not only is their time valuable, but your time is incredibly valuable as well. So control the opening. Now, one of the aspects of controlling the opening that is very, very important is to frame the decision that the person is going to make. And I discussed this just a little bit earlier about a yes or no decision. $1,000,000 salespeople are always driving towards a yes or no decision. If it's a no, no problem. And if it's a yes, I'm going to show you what to do in order to move forward with me. Okay? You want to frame the decision very clearly so the prospect knows from the beginning of the meeting exactly what's going to happen. And the prospect understands that it will be a yes or a no, not a maybe. You're not interested in maybes. $1,000,000 salespeople don't float on the ocean of maybes, right? They get right to the yeses and the nos. So, control the opening. Number 2, establish credibility. How do you establish credibility? It's something that is it's difficult to do in many ways, or it's difficult to explain. But credibility cannot be faked. Particularly if you're selling intangible products or services, you are the tangibility, and therefore you must bring incredible credibility to any sales presentation. And that has absolutely everything to do with your energy. It has everything to do with your character. $1,000,000 salespeople are men and women of incredible integrity, of incredible courage, incredible resilience. $1,000,000 salespeople bring to the table a credibility that is hard to deny. Now, one thing I want you to know, not everyone is going to like you, even if you are a credible person. Sales, by its very nature, is a magnetic process. And so magnets attract, but then magnets also repel. And you should be comfortable with the fact that not everyone is going to like you and not everyone is going to do business with you. Not because you're a bad person, but just because they don't like you. That's okay. Find the people who do like you. But make sure that everything about you is credible in light of your appearance, in light of your physical appearance, in light of the clothes that you wear. Make sure that you are presenting yourself in such a way that the person that you're talking to will be completely comfortable doing business with you if they choose to move forward. Okay, so credibility is very important. Another way you establish credibility is through clarity. Okay, many times people are very confused or they present their offering in a very confused way. Now, clarity is absolutely essential. Do you understand your product or your service? And if you do understand it, are you able to clearly communicate it? Because clarity has if you're clear on what it is that you're offering, it powerfully communicates something to the prospect. So clarity is very, very important to establishing credibility. Now, the next part is to probe for pain. Probe for pain. Why do people purchase products or services? Well, essentially, it's because they're either in pain or they want pleasure. They're in pain and they want to move away from that, so they purchase a product or service, or they want pleasure and they move towards that. Your job as a $1,000,000 salesperson is to use your $1,000,000 sales presentation to discover the pain or the pleasure that they want to either avoid or seek. How do you do that? You do that through excellent questions. Excellent questions that revolve around what it is that your product or service has to offer. So let me give you an example of an excellent question. Mr. or Ms. Prospect, what is the greatest challenge that you have at the moment with regards to my product or service? What is the greatest challenge that you have? One of the keys to being a $1,000,000 salesperson and giving a $1,000,000 sales presentation is not what you say, but it's what you hear. Listening is absolutely essential, and the only way to really be able to figure out and to discover what's going on with the prospect and whether or not what you have to offer is a fit is through the quality of the questions that you ask and the quality of the listening that then comes after those questions. Here's another question. Very simply, how do you mean? When you ask a question about someone's pain or their needs, they come to you with the onion, right? And your job is to peel the layers of the onion. And the way you peel the layers of the onion is with the quality of the questions that you ask. How do you mean? Let me ask you this, Mr. Prospect. How much is that costing you in terms of time, in terms of your emotion, in terms of your money? What is the cost of the particular issue or pain that you are experiencing at the moment? Always look to find out what's going on with that prospect by asking excellent questions and then listening deeply so that you can understand whether or not your product or service is going to be able to meet their needs. Then you've got to provide the solution. You've got to provide the solution. Your solution should specifically meet the needs that they have discussed. You should tailor the presentation of your solution to really hit those particular needs. Now, if you can't hit those particular needs, it's your job right there to let them know right away and end the presentation. But I'm assuming that your product or your service can meet those needs, and you want to move forward with tailoring your presentation to hit those particular needs. The way you do that is through data and stories. People love data and stories. They love facts and figures regarding your product or your service, and they love stories that illustrate those facts and those figures. And most people can really lock on to both of those, and it gives them a great deal of comfort in light of your product or service being able to meet their needs. Data and stories. As you're giving them the data and stories, and by the way, real life stories help as well. So if you have video presentations of customers who've gone through similar things that they're going through that can speak to those particular needs, feel free to bust those out in your presentation. But as you're going through that, you want to make sure that they understand. You want to check for understanding. Don't assume that someone understands. Read the body language. Take time to listen. Take time to observe what your prospect is doing, how they're sitting, how they're functioning with you and relating to you, so that you can be sure that they understand what it is that you have to offer. After you've done that, you then want to go to a place where you begin to explain the pricing. Now, it may not be appropriate for you to give them a specific price, so there's a number of different ways that you can address this. You want to be able to give them a range of pricing, perhaps. Maybe you want to give them the gold, the silver, or the bronze pricing, right? People like doing the 3 levels of pricing. Another way to do this, and this is very, very important, is in light of the next step in your sales process. Perhaps you can offer them a discount in pricing if they're willing today to make the next step in your sales process. You have to think about how your pricing works and how your offering works when you begin to talk about pricing in a presentation. But you owe it to the prospect to begin that conversation because you know that they're thinking about it. So after you've built some value, after you've built some relationship, after you understand what it is that they want and what it is that they need, you then begin to need to talk about the pricing involved with it. Now is the time for you to move towards the close. Okay, you want to be able to control the close, and let me explain that. Think about your product or your service. Is it demoable? Okay, demoable. Is it something where you can provide some sort of proof or some sort of offering to them on a demo basis that helps them to get more comfortable with the product or service? For instance, if you're a coach or a consultant, perhaps you're meeting one-on-one with the executive and you have an understanding of some of their needs. You're going to come back and do a strategy session with them, let's say, where you actually provide them some value and use that strategy session as a demo of your services with the intention of then closing a relationship with them. Perhaps you sell marketing services and you're going to do a marketing analysis of their current, the way they're currently doing their marketing and how they could be doing their marketing, and that has some value attached to it, and you're going to come back with that marketing analysis. Perhaps you sell insurance or financial services and you're going to come back with a report that gives them some insights and also helps you to move the process forward. I'll give you an example from my career. At one point I sold leadership and a leadership development program. And the way it worked is that I would give a presentation to the president or the chief executive of a company, and at the end of that presentation I would offer to do a 2-hour leadership development workshop for his executive team so that they could see what it's like to be involved in the leadership program that I was offering. That was the way they could demo the intangible product or service. So think about what it is that you have to offer. And it's very, very important as you're going towards the close that you set conditions for that demo. And in order to set conditions for the demo, there has to be some value attached to the demo. So let me give you another example of how I used to do that. The demo that I did for the leadership training class was valued at $2,000. And I was willing to waive the fee for the demo in exchange for 3 conditions. Those conditions were this. Number 1, that all the decision makers involved in whether or not they were going to move forward with the leadership program would be present in the demo or the workshop. Number 2, there would be uninterrupted time so we wouldn't get distracted with phone calls and emails and all that stuff. And then number 3, at the end of the demo or the end of the workshop, they could discuss it for as long as they liked privately, and they would give me a yes or no answer before I left that day. And in exchange for those conditions, I waived my $2,000 fee and give them a killer workshop with some great value that helped them to see what it was like to be involved in the leadership program. Now you may hear that little process that I explained to you and think, that's impossible, Eric. How could you do that? Let me tell you, it's not impossible. I sold millions of dollars of services using that very same approach. And I encourage you to think about how it is for you to frame, how you can frame your close at the end of your presentation so that the next step in the process is one that they can take with the understanding that at the end of that demo step, so to speak, they're going to be making a yes or no decision. And that because there is value attached to that demo step, you can then demand certain conditions for you engaging in that demo step with them. Okay? Think through your product and service offering and how you can do that. This is how you control the close. Now, think about those elements then. I shared 5 elements of a successful $1 million sales presentation. Control the opening, establish credibility, probe for pain, provide the solution, control the close. Now, I told you at the beginning to stick around for the secret, so I'm going to share that secret with you. And you know what the secret is to $1 million presentations? It's scripting. Ah, yes. Think about each one of those areas that I shared with you. Do you have a script for your presentation that you know by heart, that you're able to present not in some sort of rote, boring way, but with real conviction and with real assurance so that you can really present the benefits of the product or the service that you have to offer? The key to that is scripting, and here's the other part, memorization. Think of yourself as a crafts person. Think of yourself as an artist, a sales artist who deeply understands the work that they do by the fact that they're able to memorize it and script it out, and as a result of that, they're able to present it in an extremely powerful way. Think of yourself like a musician who practices a piece again and again and again so that on the night of the performance, and that's what you're doing when you're presenting, you are performing, on the night of the performance, they're able to deliver that presentation or that performance of the musical piece in a wonderful way. And that's what you want to do. You want to script out your presentation. That's the secret to a $1 million sales presentation. So, it's time to get into action now. Rate yourself in each one of those areas. Controlling the opening, establishing credibility, probing for pain, providing the solution, and controlling the close. 1 to 10. How would you rate yourself? 10 being, I'm the best in the world. 1 being, I'm definitely not. If you're anything less than a 9.5, you've got work to do. Okay? This process can help you to get in the top 20% of salespeople in the world, but really, I'm not interested in the top 20% for you. I'm interested in the top 20% of the top 20%. That's where the millions of dollars are made. It's with people who are able to control themselves and control their processes and learn how to make $1 million sales presentations. Again, my name is Eric Anderton. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this presentation. If you'd like to discuss this with me, if you have salespeople that you need to train, or if you as a salesperson need to improve your selling, if you own a company and you're struggling with selling, feel free to contact me. I'd love to walk you through the processes that I've used over the years and discuss with you how they may be able to benefit your business. Feel free to contact me, eric@ericanderton.com. There's other contact information that you're able to lay hold of here on the page. So feel free to contact me. I'd love to further discuss the sales presentation process with you. Remember this, $1 million salespeople make $1 million sales presentations because they have a $1 million sales process. And they're able to control themselves with courage, with conviction, and with care for their prospects. And this is what makes them successful. So thanks for listening to this presentation, and thanks for watching this presentation.